Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Anne Alvares, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show, and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast and YouTube channel. Today, we're diving into something that changes everything about how we parent, and that is relationship. Not techniques, not discipline, not quick fixes, but the actual connection between you and your child. Because when children feel connected, they listen better, they regulate themselves better, and they can trust us enough to let them guide them. This is what masterful parenting is built on. So let's explore how to deepen that connection and use it as the foundation for truly effective, heart centered parenting. So, why is connection so important? And why does masterful parenting start with relationship? It's because our influence grows out of connection and not control. The more connected our children feel to us, the more we can impact their lives. But when we start to control, or we're always trying to control, it actually breaks relationship with our children. And down the road, they could become rebellious. They may listen in the early years, but in the teenage years, overly controlling parents cause rebellion in many teenagers. The relationship as the child's emotional home base. So our environment needs to be safe and it needs to be a place where a child feels truly loved and cared about. And the connection increases cooperation, resilience, and emotional regulation. And that's why masterful parenting starts with relationship. Now, the biology of connection is sound. If you listen to any of that research, it says that our instinctive um, biology is to connect. Starting from the time that we are born, we seek connection. It's part of survival, right? To be connected to adults and to trust adults to take care of us. And how safe a relationship is actually shapes the brain so that we have a fully attached, healthy attachment to our parents. And it regulates our nervous system. So we're not anxious, right? Children that are not attached, well attached to their parents, to their caregivers, they actually end up with worries, anxieties, and exhibit behaviors of distress. So when our children feel connected, when our children feel deeply attached to us, that is when they can feel safe to be themselves, to listen to us, and they feel emotionally safe that they can express how they truly feel. And that is actually very, very healthy. I know many of us probably grew up with not showing our emotions, not showing anger, not truly being authentic to how we felt because our parents would make us feel bad about it or shamed. But I'm telling you now, parents, that actually that's not healthy. And what we have to do is we have to create this safe space for our children to feel like they can express any emotions that they have, that all emotions are valid and they are able to express it freely. That's creating emotional safety in the home. And that is actually very, very good and healthy for our children. What hurts our relationship, sometimes unintentionally or often unintentionally, is when we are overly focused on their behavior and correcting their behavior. And if we use a harsh tone or um, getting angry or rushing our children, that creates disconnection with our kids. And when we are parenting from a place of stress rather than intention, that also creates this emotional unsafety with our children because our children feel our emotions. Our children can feel our energy and they absorb it and it affects them. So that's why we have to be monitoring ourselves, how we're feeling and how are we managing our stress and self-care. So what builds relationship? If relationship is core of masterful parenting and connection is a part of building relationship, um, we need to be intentional about when we are connecting with our kids and how we're connecting. Are we making eye contact with them? Do we touch them? Do we have a physical presence with them? Every little micro moment of connection builds relationship. And are we curious rather than judgmental? Do we ask our children questions? Why do you feel that? Why did you say that? What are you thinking about? When they say something and we're not sure what, oh, I hate school, for example, then you can get curious instead of saying it's too bad you have to go to school. So why are you making a big deal about it? Suck it up. Like that's creating a harshness and emotional unsafety. However, if we say, tell me about it, what's going on? Why don't you like school? Is something happening at school? And when we can get into our children's minds and understand them better, that actually builds connection. And also, we should be repairing whenever we have conflict with our kids. I say parents should be the first to repair relationship because we're modeling to them what a healthy relationship is and how to do it, how to repair. So, repairing means, you know, yeah, mom was stressed yesterday. She was yelling and it wasn't a good thing. So, honey, I just want to apologize that I yelled. I should have, taken a pause and taken a moment for myself before I reacted to you, honey. This is repairing relationship. And whenever we repair relationship with our kids, it creates more connection and more emotional safety. Because then now they can apologize too. They feel they don't have to be perfect. They feel that they can make mistakes and that they can own up to it, apologize, and be forgiven and still loved unconditionally. So emotional availability is also super, super key. When our children are trying to tell us something, we need to stop what we're doing. Like if we're cooking or if we're um, doing chores or if we're on our phones or on our devices, we need to make time to listen, stopping what we're doing or saying to our children, I'm busy right now. Can you give me 5 minutes? And just let me just finish this up, but I really want to hear what you have to say. That creates emotional availability. And when our kids realize that we are available to them emotionally, that also builds strong connection with us. So, relationship as a parenting strategy is key key to raising healthy, emotionally healthy, um, confident, and connected kids. So when we use this strategy of focusing on the relationship and building connection daily, intentionally, then we are actually fostering um, and creating the raising of children who are very emotionally healthy and secure with themselves and confident. So we want to use it as a strategy. Uh, we know that when our kids are connected, we will have less defiance. Okay, defiance. They're not going to argue as much. Um, they're not going to be rebelling because they're connected and they know that we care about them. And how empathy also is important because empathy leads to cooperation. So if you have a teen or a child that's complaining a lot, your first strategy is to empathize with them. I know that sounds hard, or yes, I understand that you're tired. This is creating emotional safety as well, because when somebody is listening and trying to understand you, then you feel a deeper connection towards that person. So we as parents we are the ones that will create that by letting them talk and express their fears, their worries, their fatigue, um, their stress. When we allow them to communicate their deepest feelings and thoughts, and we do not judge them, we just allow them to express, then that is creating emotional safety. And that is also building deep connection with our kids. And we are using the relationship to guide, teach, and set boundaries. Okay, so um, we can say to kids, let's say that we're doing our best to role model healthy relationships, right? Feeling heard, feeling seen, um, feeling understood. These are all elements of a healthy relationship to be seen, to be heard, and to feel cared about. So when we have these elements in our relationships, then we know that they're healthy and we role model those. But if our children are being unhealthy with us, if they are having a bad day and they seem to be taking it out on us, getting upset, getting irritated, you can set a boundary. You can say, okay, I understand you're frustrated, but you don't need to yell at mom. Mom doesn't yell at you. Dad doesn't yell at you. Do you need to take a time out? Do you need to take a walk? Right? Because now we're expecting them to regulate their emotions, and we're setting boundaries of what we're going to tolerate and what we're not going to tolerate, right? And we are the gatekeepers of healthy behavior in our homes. So if we are not instilling boundaries with our kids, then we're not teaching them what is healthy and what is not. So we are the gatekeepers to keeping our homes healthy. So everybody needs to feel safe in the home. Every child, every adult. And as the adults, we role model what healthy relationships look like, feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling supported. And if our children are not listening to us, if they're not making us feel seen, heard, or supported, then we have to explain to them what the boundary is. Like right now, you're not being healthy. Right now, you're not behaving in a way that makes me feel good to be around you. Can we do something different? Maybe you're having a bad day. Do you want to go for a run? And we can talk about this after. So we have to be the gatekeepers of healthy behavior. And especially with siblings, we have to make sure siblings are behaving healthy with each other. Because again, our job is to keep our homes emotionally safe for everybody. And if one sibling is being bullied by another, that is not creating safety. and it's not creating connection as well. Because the family unit needs to be strong. It needs to be, everybody needs to feel safe to express themselves and to be who they are and not be afraid of anybody else in the family. So we use relationship as a guide. We teach our kids healthy behavior, and then we have boundaries to make sure that healthy behavior is kept within our homes. Okay, so it's a lot. I know parents, it's a lot, but it is so important. It's like the foundation of masterful parenting is relationship building and learning how to connect with our kids daily, because it is the game changer in parenting, in making influence and raising healthy, emotionally healthy, and confident, self-reliant children. Okay, so here's some practical tools that I want you to try today. Um, so maybe a 10-minute connection ritual, maybe even 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be long, but when my kids were little and I tucked them into bed, we would read a story. That was a ritual that we had. And then my oldest, he loved languages. So we would say, I love you in all different languages before we went to sleep, to each other. And that was a connection ritual for us. But you can have your own connection ritual. Maybe it's prayer. Maybe it's, playing a game. Maybe it's having quiet time together, just holding each other, hugging each other before bed. Whatever your ritual is, make sure that you have a ritual every day with your children, a connection ritual, something that is going to bring you together. And you can actually ask your kids, like every child's different. So some kids feel connected with physical connection, like being physically close. And others, they want to read or learn or ask you questions. So you can use your knowledge of what your children like, what your child likes, and use that as the connection. As I said, my oldest was really into languages, and so I made it a point to learn how to say I love you in many different languages. And that was our way of connecting with each other. So you can find a way to connect that speaks to your child's heart, because it's something that they like and it makes them feel loved. You can stop, see, and soften before reacting. So stop. Your child's doing something. It's like yelling in the house. Okay. Stop, see what your child's doing, and then soften. Say, okay, he's very energetic today. Or, okay, she needs to talk and won't stop talking. Pause, and then you can react. You can say, or have a response. Honey, I just came home from work and I really want to hear all of your stories, but can you just give me a minute to get changed, relax a little bit, and then we can talk about everything that you want to talk about. How's that? All right. Now we're softening. We're telling our kids we still want to connect, but maybe right now is not the best time because you're not in a headspace that you can really listen because you've been rushing and you need some downtime after work. That is okay. That is 100% okay. Um, we can narrate the need method for difficult moments. So we can say, what does my child need right now? This is such an important question, parents, to ask ourselves when our kids are in crisis, especially. They're frustrated with homework. Oh, I hate math. I can't stand doing math. This teacher is so hard. Okay, so now we pause, we see what's happening, and we're going to soften the response, but we're also going to address the need. We're going to say, what does my child need right now? Okay, my child needs to vent. Let your child vent about math. That's okay. Like, they need to get it out of their system. And then you can have a discussion. Okay, what will help? What what do you think will help you? Do you want me to help you with your math? Do you want to do one question together? Is there a friend that you can call to get help? What would help you right now, honey, in this moment? I always say, ask if you don't know. And it's always good to ask anyway, because our kids know, generally speaking, they know what's going to help them. And then we're allowing them to problem solve it as well. When we ask questions, we're giving them confidence because now they are involved in the problem solving. And that's what we want. We want them to be involved in the problem solving of their emotional dysregulation. Okay, and then you can have check-in connection questions like, okay, so how was your day? What happened? I do this a lot with my kids because they're in school, I'm working. I don't know what their day's like. I'm curious. I want to know how things are going, how are their friendships, what's happening, what's new. It's so important to ask check-in questions with everybody in the family because that builds connection as well. So it's super, super important to make time to check in with your family, everybody in the family. How did your day go? What's going on? What was good? What was not so good that maybe you want to talk about? Okay. Again, connection building relationship, right? We know what makes us feel good. When people ask about our day, it makes us feel cared for. And it's the same with our children. When we ask them about their day, then they feel that we care, right? And that caring builds connection. Oh, hey, parents, I hope that I have convinced you that relationship building in parenting is the key to masterful parenting, and connection is the way to build relationship. So, if we are intentionally building connection with our kids by asking questions, by having a 10-minute connection ritual, by listening to them, uh, by doing things that with them, spending quality time with them, because you can't build connection if you don't make time. So making time with your kids to find out about their lives and to spend quality time with them will help you with all the other behaviors that can happen. Less defiance, more cooperation, more emotional regulation. When our kids are truly, truly connected to us, we will not see the behaviors that many kids exhibit because the behavior is a sign that something is missing emotionally for our children. All right. I hope that helps you, parents. Thank you so much for listening. And if there's one takeaway from today, it's this: you don't have to be perfect. Relationship grows through presence, repair, and intention. Every small moment of connection counts. So make time for those small moments of connection. And if this episode supported you, share it with a parent who might need this reminder today. And as always, remember, connection isn't a strategy, it is the heart of masterful parenting. Thank you so much, parents, and we will see you on the next episode of Masterful Parenting. Take care, everybody. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. If this show blessed you, changed you, or helped you in any way, I would appreciate a Google review or a review on my podcast. And I would love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Masterful Parenting, so we can get the word out to more parents about relational parenting. Thank you so much, parents, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.